Hello, everybody. This is our special episode 2 of the Wendigo.
The Wendigo. What?
The Wendigo. And so we're going to flip over to the audio side now. Get that going, you little turd muggets. Go kiss a butthole.
Kiss my oh. Hey! You made the video. What do you do?
Look, it's still recording. See, it's red, so we're still recording. So don't cry, Poppy.
Okay.
You know, they're recording, you can see it.
Well, I'm not masturbating.
Alright, you ready?
Why you gotta touch my shit?
Alright. Let's get Wendigo going.
Why does it start? Okay, ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. And welcome back to another podcast. This is Ghost Stories Told from the South. I am your host, co-host, Lexi.
And I am your host, Stephen. We got no...
God damn it. Just let me talk.
Well, I go to talk and it just comes out like...
Yeah, let me talk. 3, 2, 1. And welcome back to the podcast. This is Ghost Stories Told from the South. I am your co-host, Lexi.
And I am your host, Stephen. We got some good old Wendigo stuff for you again. This is special too.
Yeah, this is part 2 of our special for the Wendigo.
Lexi didn't realize it was going to be like
Did not realize it was going to be so long. So, if you have listened to part 1, we have, these are the states that we have left to talk about. We have Texas, Mississippi, Indiana, Kentucky, Alabama, Georgia, West Virginia, Vermont, Connecticut, and Canada. So,
Canada.
And Canada, I know is not a state, but it ties into the story.
It's
and we have to give our input on everything still. So, make sure you listen to part 1. And yeah, so let's just dive right in because, you know, this is going to be a long one.
It's going to be a big one right here, Maya.
Yeah. Okay. So, this is about the Texas Wendigo. This first story is in Yorktown. So,
Yorktown. That sounds familiar. Yorktown. You know, Yorktown, that's, I think, where that hospital is that you did.
I did so many hospitals.
There was a hospital you did, and I think it was Yorktown. It's really haunted. It was like a hospital in an insane asylum or something like that.
All my hospitals are insane asylums.
I think I remember
I probably
that
did do one, though.
From that hospital.
Because I started out in Texas, and I was like, I'm going to go other places.
Yeah, like the first episode.
Okay, so there's this girl who was like walking or whatever, and there was this old metal building on one side of the...
I typed in Wendigo, Texas, and went automatically to Yorktown.
There was this old metal building on one side and 2 like smaller white houses with it, and it was beside the woods. Well, she was walking or whatever. Well, on the left side, she looked over and she saw this 8-foot pale figure across, you know, the way. So on the left side, and it was about 40 foot in front of her. And then she, you know, ignored it. She kept on seeing it. She ignored it. Well, then she got this feelingness of heaviness and dread that had washed over her. Well, she looked like back and forth between the road and, you know, the buildings and stuff in the woods. Well, the 5th time, this thing was on all 4s. It was crouching over. It had white skin. It was bald. Had huge black eyes. It had a human face and body and twig arms. And it was swaying back and forth like a freaking praying mantis.
Wow.
And then she ran home. She was like, bye.
Well, I don't blame her, wouldn't you?
I mean, I don't blame her. Well, then I saw something else.
Sorry if I'm making some noise, guys. I'm just trying to do my call.
She had heard, I guess, like her friends calling her name in this like body of woods that, you know, and
that
she
they
knew.
were in playing.
No, like it was just her walking.
Oh.
And she heard her friends calling her, and she was like, "My friends aren't here. What the heck?" So she just ignored it and kept on walking, and she was so. And then the creature appeared out of nowhere. So, now my second story about Texas is in Killeen. Is that how you say it, Killeen?
Yes, Killeen, Texas.
Killeen, Texas. Okay. This reminds me of something off of the alien movie. So this guy, he was walking home from a friend's house late at night, and it was dark. You know, he referred to it being dark as hell. So, but he said that there was only one street light on the road that he was walking on. You know, it was like in the middle of the road. It was really creepy, like something off of a movie.
Oh yeah.
Well, he had passed. He had passed 5 houses, and then he felt a shiver or like a creep down his like spine, and his hair like rised. And he was like, I don't like this. Well, he was like, he felt someone watching him, and he was like, ew, no. So then he turned around and he saw this like gray figure statue thing, 7 or 8 feet tall. He had deep black eyes, a dark mouth, twig arms, and then he ran home. As he was running home, the lamps behind him,
breaking.
Yeah, like he could hear like
going.
Because there was only one on, so like, but they were still there. They were just on. The creature would like jump to them, and he could hear like the crashing of everything behind him, like the world was falling apart. He swung the door open and he bolted it shut, but then the creature like knocked on the door. But he didn't open it, luckily. Some people would be stupid enough to open it.
I would have screamed. Psych!
Take me! No.
I wouldn't have. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm a big wuss.
And this one's in Minnesota. This is a really short one. This guy just saw this Wendigo just like chilling out. Huh?
It was where?
In Minnesota.
Oh.
This guy just saw it on the side of the road just chilling while he went on the way to work. He didn't stop. He was like, I'm leaving, but he just saw it on the way to work.
So not every day you see the Wendigo going to work.
Yeah, I was like, that's a story to tell.
Yeah.
And then this one's in Mississippi. This is
Spell that.
Mississippi. Okay. So these people, they had like this guiding camp tour they would do with about like a group of kids, and they would like take them to camps and like, you know, just it was like a thing. Well, there was this I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, but this is really important to the story. There was this like one kid, and this kid was like kind of autistic. So like when this kid mentioned that he was like seeing stuff, these people were like, no, you're not, it's okay.
It's all in your head.
Basically. So like this kid was saying, this kid kept on saying that he was seeing like this really tall man in the woods, and the camp counselors were like, you're fine. Nothing's there. And they were like, he was like, yeah, there is, but they were just ignoring it because they were like, oh, he's kind of artistic, he's just making it up. So then later that night, they heard one of the girls, it was an only girl, one girl that they heard, because she was in a separate tent, they heard her talking to somebody. Well, then they saw something shake the tent. They played it off, and they were like, oh, it's just a prank, and they went back to bed. Instead of, going to check it out with kids there.
Wow, it wasn't just a prank. It's just guys playing jokes on us.
I get it if there wasn't kids there, but if you were in charge of all those kids, it's your duty to go check it out.
Yeah.
Like having your own kids there. So, and this camp, I'm not trying to call out the camp, but this camp was Little Trisket Camp in Montana. So they went there or whatever, and they woke up the next morning, and the stakes that you have to hold the tent down with, they were bent at a 90-degree angle. And they're already kind of bent that way, if you look at it, but they said they were bent the backwards way, they were bent backwards.
Oh God.
And they tried
That's
to do it.
Strong fella right
yeah,
there.
They tried to do it, and they were like, I can't bend these. And the girl couldn't do it.
Yeah.
They were like, that's weird. So then, this was another separate occasion. This camp counselor, she had gone to the bathroom, the adults and the kids had separate bathrooms. So this grown up went to her bathroom and she felt someone like watching her, and then she heard footsteps like a little kid was following her. Well, then she went back down there and all the kids were sound asleep, and she was like, what just followed me to my bathroom? Then like he was watching me take a pee. So I was like,
well, he's not only a creepy guy, he's a pervert too.
yeah, apparently so. And then this is another story. I have 3 stories on this one. This is another one. Well, this person was hunting on a snowy Saturday, and this person said that the woods were deadly quiet. Like,
see, and that's always the first sign. If you're a guy who's been out in the woods, that's like your first sign. It's like when the woods is like dead quiet, something's up.
Yeah.
Everybody knows something but you.
Obviously. Oh, and I said this is from Minnesota. I'm wrong. It's Mississippi. I don't know why. Okay, this is all from Mississippi. I got my things wrong.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he was like hunting, and he was like, it's deadly quiet. Well, then all of a sudden he heard like a really like a grunting sound. Well, then he said it sounded like a buck call and like a bird call together. And he was like, okay. Then he saw something. He didn't say what, but he said he saw something. So he ran. He was like, bye. And then he like got far away, then he stopped, and then he saw whatever he saw like following him in the distance. So he said it had a head of a deer. He said it looked sick, like really sick. Had white eyes, was motionless, it was 9 feet tall, and it looked like it had like a deadly virus.
Kind of like that?
Yeah, like the picture. Well, it chased him. Did you hear that too? Stuff has been happening. Okay, so it chased him basically to his truck, and he hauled ass out of there, as he would put it. So, that happened. Well, then this one, this is weird. So, all these are weird. But, this was a summer, and this lake called Toshall Lake. About
Shut up, Reed.
Sorry, my dog lost his mind. About 16 miles of padding, because it's like this long lake where you have to like pad your way through it. And he was paddling, whatever. And they got to like this campsite called Dead Man's Portage. And well, you have to like paddle, and then you get to the campsite and like paddle, I guess, some more. And if you leave anything, you have to like paddle back. I don't really understand that part. Well, he left his sleeping bag somewhere, so he had to like go paddle to go get it. Well, as he got his sleeping bag and was headed back to the campsite, rocks started falling off the freaking cliff and hitting him, like behind the boat. Well, then they looked up where they were falling, and there was like these red glowing eyes looking at them.
That's weird, because that's what they say the Bigfoot does.
Throw rocks at people?
Yeah, throw stuff at people.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so then in Michigan, this is a really short one too. There's apparently this Wendigo hotel/camp thing, but it's not spelled like W-E, it's W-I. So like the
So we need to go there and spend the night, is what you're saying.
We could, but if we're not going into the woods, we are not going to do that. So
come on.
I don't want to die. Okay, so then this one is in Indiana.
Indiana.
That's what I said.
No, you said Indiana.
Indiana. So, this person was inside their house, and they heard like noises outside. They thought it sounded like a wounded cat, so they went out there to help. They're like, oh, okay, this poor cat. So they went out there. They heard, they thought it was like a cat fight or whatever. So they went out there. Yeah. So then they went out there and they heard like the whisper of like a cat in the bush. Kind of like a, like kind of like a purr thing, I guess. Well, this thing made a meow sound. Then they saw it. And it was standing like a person, but it was tall like a tree. Well, this person slowly backed inside and shut the door and locked it and was like, no. And ever since then, that person has had nightmares of it.
Well, do you blame it? I mean, I'd have nightmares.
Yeah, that's really traumatic. So, okay. This one, okay, sorry, I've forgotten to write something. Okay, so this one is in Red River, George area, Kentucky.
Red River, George.
So, this person went camping, and they went like night hunting. Not hunting, hiking, sorry.
Oh my god, these guys went freaking night hiking too?
Yeah, okay, so what they like to do
Oh my god.
is these people were like stargazers. They were all about stars.
Well, that's fine. You can go to an open field and do that, but I ain't gonna go wander around the
Yeah, no,
woods.
they're like, we're gonna go. They were really notorious for doing it. They're like, we always go to campsites, camp there, like we get sleep and then we wake up when it's like really, really dark and we go and we hike and find a spot to go stargaze. So that's exactly what they did. Well, they got up and they noticed something was really off because normally, you know how like when it's really good in stargaze, like it's really perfect outside.
Yeah.
Well, they said as soon as they started hiking, the clouds took over the sky and became really humid and just like eerie feeling and horrible. Well, they took a break, like they were hiking for a long time, and then they found like this like a block of rocks to sit on, you know what I'm talking about, like those things that have parts. They sat on that. Well, then this girl started walking up, and if you're gonna go hiking, what type of shoes do you wear?
You gotta wear some hiking boots or something. With
Hiking boots or like tennis shoes or something. Well, this girl appears like in a sundress and flip-flops, and she's has one of the headlamps, and she's just kind of just standing there staring at them, and the headlamp is like shining in their eyes, and they're like doing this, like covering, you know, the light. Well, she just stands there, and then one of the girls is like, hello, like, are you okay? And this girl, the girl that walks up answers them, but she's pausing in between each word. She's like, oh, hi, I'm okay.
I just walk around in the middle of the night with a light on my head, flip-flops.
Yeah, they're like, and then it begins like dead silence, and they're just kind of staring at each other, and she's like, okay. Well, then she turns around, and she goes back the way she came. Well, and they, so like, they see the light like slowly disappears, like they know she left. Well, then the group of people get up and they start walking. Then the clouds get thicker, and it becomes miserable, they said. Well, then they hear voices, but they're like, no one's here. It might be that girl, though, so let's just ignore it. Well, then they saw her headlamp, but they didn't see a body. They were like, okay.
That's when it was time to check out.
Yeah, well, then they heard, like, the sound of the Wendigo. They thought it sounded like a bird's call, / like a buck, / like 20 other animals. And then they said it was, like, rhythmic, and it wasn't normal. So they were like, okay. Then they got, like, to leave. Like, they were just gonna leave everything, and they were just, like, trying to find the way out. And the trail wasn't that long, but, like, you know how whenever you're, like, trying to leave, or, like, you're in a situation where, like, you're like, how much longer? It feels like 20 times longer. Like, okay.
That's crazy.
So, like, they felt longer, whatever. So then they're looking around because they're hearing these noises, and one of the guys caught that, like, with the eyes of the Wendigo in the light. Well, because they felt watch and stuff. And they, like, hurried. Well, then they heard it again, so they stopped. And one of the guys points, and he's like, huh, what's that, guys? Well, then they saw a light gray creature. He was in a crouching position as it, like, slowly turns towards them. And then it slowly stands, and it had, like, gray dolphin skin, they said. Well, then everyone froze. And for, like, 5 seconds, they just, like, stared at each other and the creature. And then the creature bolted at them and chased them out of the camp. So yeah.
That's always fun.
Yeah, I've noticed that in every story, these creatures are like, get out. They just chase them out. They're like,
yeah,
you're in my spot. Okay.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, basically.
It's all mine.
So this one is in Alabama. Okay, this guy described, like, this creature as being like an omni deer-like creature, and he also said that he was like had like smooth skin, his ribs showed, he had like a skull head with antlers, and his arms and stuff. We'll get to that in a minute because that also, like, you have to go with the story. So, this guy was driving out at night on like a dark, empty road. It was cool weather, it was really nice outside. Well, he had came to a stop sign, but this car that was in front of him was stopped like about 10 feet in front, like below, like behind the stop sign. Ew.
That's kind of believable.
Ew. So he stopped behind the car, he got out, and he saw this creature like at the other car, and I already described it, but he said the arms were like bent in an unnatural way, and he was on all fours, and then he looked at each other, and then he ran away.
Man, that's crazy how it's so tall, but it can go from upright to all fours and just be gone.
Yeah, it is. Ew, looks like it has like a unicorn on top. Then this is in Georgia. So these people were camping at the Chahada Wilderness Camp. They had heard a sound at night, and of course, they went to go check it out. They said it sounded like multiple people walking around the camp at once. And then they heard a whistling sound. And then they had heard, hey. And then, like, the whistling sound stopped, and then it started again. Well, there's two guys, and one of the guys, like, calls the cops, and he's like, hey, there's people messing with us, and are like, because they have like one of these cabins in the woods. Ew.
Yeah.
And so they're like, dude, like, help. Well, someone was running in a circle around the campsite, and then after someone said, hey, the whistling noise came back. So that guy went to go call the cops, and then went to go get a knife in the tent, like one of the other guys went to go get the knife out of the tent, like, to protect himself. Then they saw the Wendigo. He shined a light at it, and this Wendigo did a backflip off the freaking tree and ran away.
Wow.
So they were like, so they packed up and left.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
No way, Charlie.
Okay, so this is a 3-parter in West Virginia.
West Virginia.
I almost said the same thing.
Mama. You almost said the dirty word.
Yeah. Okay, so this. Sorry, I have really stuffy nose. I have allergies.
Yeah.
So this person was about 10 years old, and she was playing in the woods just after sundown. She had gotten the sense of like being watched, and she went to go home. And she got the sense of like being watched and followed and stuff. Well, she started running. She got to this open field, and she heard like clashing behind her, like everything just being destroyed behind her. Well, then she saw her house, so she ran to her house and locked the door. And then she looked out the door, and she saw this pale, thin, dog-like creature peeking out from behind a tree. And then they locked eyes for a good 2 seconds, and then he vanished. Then she had another instance in high school. She was bow hunting late in the evening, and she was walking out of the woods, and then she heard a blood-curdling scream behind, like, her. So she ignored it. She was like, okay, it's probably an animal. Like, I'm not gonna go investigate. So then, as she was older, she went to go like shoot and stuff. Well, she was 3/4 back of the way to her vehicle. And then she heard movement behind like her. So she kind of just played it off and started walking. Well, then she heard it more, so she turned and she got her gun and she looked through the scope and she saw nothing. Well, then 5 minutes later, she heard it. She heard the noises. She heard the noises again, and she looked through. She heard it over her shoulder. Well, then she looked without the scope, but she said that she saw what looked like to be like 4 or 5 coyotes, like just together. Then she aimed the gun at the coyote, and then this like wolf-like thing or dog, she said, transformed and stood up, and she said it reminded her of what she saw whenever she was 10. So then she shot at it, and it chased her to her vehicle.
See, screw that. If I shot at something and it came after me, I think I'd haul ass too.
So, that happened. So she had 3 different instances, one in her childhood, one in her teenage years, and one in her adult years of the Wendigo. Like, that one just stuck with her. So, this one is in Vermont. So this person had headphones on. He went to go throw the garbage away. Then he headed back to his house, and over the headphones, he heard this loud banging, like before going inside, and he heard it, and he turned around, and he saw something, and it was skinny, and it was like this humanoid, like pale gray thing. Well, it had jumped from the ground to the roof and disappeared. And then he ran inside.
Wow. I think I would have moved from the house.
Same. In a bunch of these, if you'll notice, like, they're all by woods.
Yeah.
Like where Denny lives.
So you want to go exploring at Denny's now?
No. So, and then this is the second story in Vermont. So, it's dark and late again, and this person it's the same person, okay? He's outside with his dog. This dog growled, and he, growled, looked at the owner, looked ahead, started growling again. And he was staring at something that he got behind him. Then he was like, that's the same thing I've seen before. So, he said it had antlers, it was on all fours, it was like skeletal, and it was covered in fur. This is the first one I've heard covered in fur besides Helltown.
Yeah.
So then they were glancing and staring at each other for a little bit. Then it let out like a shriek. He said it sounded like a pig and a woman scream together. It hissed, and then it jumped onto a tree, and this guy was like, nope, and he went back inside. Like, could you even imagine?
That would be some messed up stuff.
So,
you're out there enjoying your time, and then all of a sudden you see some creature cutting some backflips and hauling our ass.
Oh, I know. So, we're almost done. I'm about to be in Canada.
Oh, Canada.
So, this is Connecticut. This is 2 stories.
Connecticut or Canada?
This is Connecticut. I'm about to be in Canada. Connecticut. So, this little first story, this person went to go visit their grandparents whenever she was little. Well, her grandparents were like, because they lived by woods, they were like, watch out for the Wendigo. And she was like, okay. Well, then as she got older, she was like 6 or 7, because she was like 3 when I took her this. She was like 6 or 7. Well, then she started getting like images in her mind of the Wendigo. And then she was like 9 or 10, she started having visions in the house of the Wendigo. And this is the first one I read of like the Wendigo like being in the house. So she like saw the Wendigo in the house, and the head almost touched the ceiling. The ceiling was about like 10 foot, I guess she said, and the thing was about 8-9 foot. She said it looked like a frozen corpse. It was naked, had long arms and legs, and it had like a morphed face, and it was ugly, was what she said. So, I was like, that's like the one that I was like, because that one didn't like attack her, she just had like visions of being in her home, and she would get images from it. So I was like, okay. Well, then her grandparents ended up moving, so she didn't have to be by the woods anymore. So, those are all the ones that I had got in the United States. So, before I moved to Canada, because Canada has a little bit of crap. So, what do you think about the stories from part 1 and part 2?
Oh man, I like them. Especially how they're kind of all over the United States. I thought it might have just been a south, northern thing.
And so, like, I only found them, like, of the ones that we covered. That's the only place I really found them, because I tried doing all 50, and I was like, that's weird. But I am glad that I kind of got, like, a mixture of everywhere.
Yeah, because, I mean, it is kind of cool, because everybody's got their kind of different description. But every one of them say he's like 8 foot tall, antlers.
That he's really tall.
Yeah.
Almost everyone says he has antlers.
Yes.
And I've noticed too, a lot of them say they looks really sick and pale, or like he went through like something. And the only one where he looks muscular, or says he looks muscular, is the Wendigo. I mean the Helltown one.
Yeah.
But everyone else doesn't. And there's only one that said he has fur. So I don't know. But yeah. Okay.
That's
So-
another one of them good old native legends. I mean, just because we haven't seen it, it don't mean it's not real.
Yeah, that's like saying, "Oh, is air real?" Because we can't see.
I mean, come on. There's no little kids that still believe in Santa Claus. I hope they listen to this.
If they do,
cover
sorry.
your ears, I'm sorry, but everybody knows Santa ain't real, but you would
You
never
just
see
ruin the
him,
dreams
like
of millions of
Bigfoot
12-year-olds.
and Wendigos and stuff like that. I think it's real. It's just no one's seen it, you know.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me tell my Canadian story real quick, and then we'll like discuss our final thoughts. Okay, so this is in Canada. This is their version. This is like their version of the Wendigo. So there's two different stories and stuff. So this guy, he was an Indian Swift runner. He lived in Canada from like 1978 to 1979, and he lived on a wasteland. And he came to the city, you know, of St. Albert in Canada. And he told horrific stories of like the Wendigo, and everyone was like, "Shh, you're lying. We're talking about it." They won't believe him. Well, there's this one winter because winters up there, or you know, they actually get winters. Unlike we don't get.
Yeah, they
anything.
get like winters. Their winters last as long as the warm months do not go for us.
Yeah, which is like all year round for us.
Yeah.
So anyway, they got a winter, and it was really harsh. I mean, so his family froze to death. Apparently, he had a wife and children. He had 6 kids. Yeah, you know, they all froze to death. I don't know how he didn't freeze to death, but they all froze to death. How did he not die? So he reverted to cannibalism. He got really hungry and he ate all his kids and his wife. Well, then the
gotta
police.
teach them to do the crowers, huh?
So the police found the remains. Like he had buried them, but they found them. Well, then he ended up like turning distraught and like Wendigo obsessed after he ate his family. And people said that they saw him roaring, whining, and howling like a wild beast. Well, then he was arrested and executed, you know, for murder.
Yeah.
So basically, like when I said in the beginning of part 1, again, if you haven't listened to it, go
listen
check
to
it out.
it.
I said like the spiritual part, like basically if you're a cannibal and you eat people, you turn into the Wendigo. Like that kind of is this story. So, well then there's another one like that. This guy Timothy, he worked at like a circus thing. So he got on the bus to travel to Winnipeg to like go work at another job. Or yeah, so anyway, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought and I can't breathe. So he got on a bus or whatever, and on the bus he had fell asleep. Well, then his neighbor that was sitting next to him attacked him. And on the bus, in front of all these people, he removed his head and ate it. Not his head, but like he removed his head and ate him. In front of all these people. So all of these people saw him like commit this crime and everything. Well, then the passengers, you know, got sick and they were like throwing up everywhere from like watching this person eat another person in front of them. Well, the guy who attacked him got taken into custody, and then his statement was, or what people were saying was basically he went crazy because he was Wendigo crazy. So, yeah, I yeah, that's his thing, but. I mean, regardless, he still killed somebody, so...
Yeah, ate that guy and was on the bus still being it.
Yeah, and then people saw that. Like, they had to, like, block the bus.
That's crazy,
like,
in broad
and
daylight. He flipped the hell out.
Yeah. So, but that's, like, all I got. That's the end, and I know this special is only gonna be, like, an hour, probably, because, like, it's a wrap-up of, like, that other one. But, yeah. So the only states that we were able to cover were Washington, California.
There's a picture of that Indian guy, that runner dude.
Oh yeah, the remains.
Yeah.
Okay, so the only
Jesus,
states that we were able. Yeah. Okay, the only states that we were able to cover that I could find stories on were Washington, California, Idaho,
Oh my
Montana,
God, that's the guy that was on the
Wyoming.
bus.
Mm-hmm. Wyoming, Utah, New Mexico,
And he looks
Colorado.
like a normal dude.
Yeah.
Looks like a normal Joe.
Texas, Mississippi, Indiana. Is that the guy that was attacked or attacked? Kentucky,
sure.
Alabama, Georgia, West
No, it
Virginia.
says killed Tim. Oh yeah, he killed Timothy with his son. What? Oh. Huh. I guess.
Vermont, Connecticut, and Canada. But those are the only places I was able to find stuff on. But they're not all in one spot, and they were kind of just everywhere all over the U.S. And Canada had some places, and I think UK did too. But pretty much everywhere has like their own version of the Wendigo.
Well, it's one of them old kind of Indian legends, you know. And I mean, like I said, I believe in it, and I think it's real. People is probably like, "Oh, you're stupid. The Wendigo, the Bigfoot, all that crap ain't real."
Well, and I mean, if you look like at no pictures, half of them can be fake and stuff. Like if you actually look,
like some of them ones I found, there was some that was like, yeah, I could see that some, otherwise the news fake.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, and there's like how every single story had like pretty much the same description. How can you fake that? Like how would you get with over 50 people and be like, hey,
especially
say this?
People in Texas and Canada and
all that
everywhere.
It is crazy though how some people were like attacked by the Wendigo and then some people literally went crazy to get out of it.
Well, too, there's I've been find research on it, but the hideaway man or the hide man, he does the same thing, kind of like the Wendigo. He takes you like a lot of people get lost in the woods.
Yeah.
And they blame it on him, kind of like with the Wendigo. Everybody blames it on that poor guy. He just wants to eat flesh.
Ew. Okay. Well.
But I do like them old urban legends and stuff like that. That's been around for freaking years, man. Because there's some that you can listen to out there and you're like, yeah, there's no way. But like I said, I think it's stuff's real. I mean, I think it's a real. I mean, it's a real thing or creature or whatever.
I think this one's real, and I mean, I think the like actual monster part's real. I don't think the spirit thing's real. Like, I mean, I don't think like that guy. Like, I don't think like the spirit thing's real. Like, it could be like if you're turned to if you're a cannibal, you're gonna turn to the Wendigo. Because you know how many Wendigos we'd have all over the freaking U.S. Not just U.S. but everywhere. Like, so no, I don't believe that part. And I don't believe just from reading about the Wendigo, you can go Wendigo crazy.
Yeah, well, I hope we don't go Wendigo crazy.
Hey, I'm hungry. Give me your arm.
I'm in the mood for a hot dog. We have some dogs over there.
Ew. But, well, I just marked on myself.
Well, I think it's been fun and real. Sorry this one's not as long.
But it's a wrap up to part one.
It's a wrap up to part one. And we didn't want to... We think an hour is good enough. We don't want to do maybe an hour and a half because we'll feel we'll lose you if we do that. I mean, we might. It just depends. But
yeah. Might go over a little bit hour, but it might be a little bit. But
you guys, don't forget we're on what there, Lexi?
We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and Stitcher. And we're trying to get on iHeart.
iHeartRadio.
So, and our Instagram and Twitter is South Texas Ghost. And then check out our Facebook at Ghost Stories Told from the South. And our email is ghoststoriestoldfromthesouth@gmail.com.
Yes.
So make sure to send us, because Halloween's coming up, so make sure to send us like stories that you might have or like stuff in your region, your area. Because we're trying to come up with something to do for like the October. September and October. So check us for that.
It will be fun, guys. I'm anxious and ready for Halloween.
Me too.
Well, it just ticks me off because Halloween never sticks around long like Christmas and everything.
Yeah, no, Halloween's one of my favorite holidays. I have a couple that I love. But just keep on liking us and keep on downloading and everything. We've almost reached our goal and I'm so happy.
Yes, y'all keep helping us out and keep hitting them like buttons and follows, subscribe, downloads, hit them all, man.
And thank you to everyone who's been listening. We're growing so much. Thank you to everyone all over the world. I know that we're only covering the U.S. right now, but eventually we will cover like all over. Right now,
Yeah.
we're just sticking to U.S. because we are really small. But we are eventually gonna like cut
But
stuff.
you guys from other countries, you know, y'all can.
Send us stuff that's like haunted in your area or folklore or whatever, because we don't know anything.
If you want to, if you got pictures from your area, send them.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Like
that.
a
Send
creepy
them.
house or something that you know that's haunted. Take a picture or something. You know.
We can post it on our Instagram if you guys are okay with
Yes,
that,
we
or our
can.
Facebook. You know.
We can do that all day, every day.
So, be safe out there, guys.
Be safe. I love you guys. Be good and watch out for the creepy stuff out there, my friends. Don't just gonna do that. This has been Ghost Stories Told from the South, and I am Stephen LaBooth, your host with the most. Yeah, yeah.
And I am your co-host, Lexi. Ha ha ha.
You'll be very good tonight. Remember, don't go out in the woods and you might see the Wendigo.
Bye. Adios, míos, papi. Well, we have a month to come up with something for Halloween.
Yes, Halloween's got to be good. I mean, good. Good! 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 We need to make it a 3-hour special.
No. Damn, Dad.
An hour and a half and then another hour and a half. I'm just kidding. Don't cry, tit sacks. Alright, we get this ready for another one. Now this time, wait. This time I can take the curtain down. Because we got 2 videos.
Yeah. I gotta get up. Bye.